Hello, everyone again. Ciao, bonjour, and everything. I'm not so polyglot like our Yasna, but this is a spoiler. I will explain later how it works. But thank you so much, really, for joining our webinar. And another big thank you goes to everyone who participated in this research, actually. So I would like to tell you briefly about the state of AI in market research, but based on your actually opinions. Yeah. So before jumping into the results, I would like to tell you briefly who did we speak with. So the geography was really wide, and majority of our respondents were from Europe and North America, but we had some people from Asia Pacific and we had some people from Latin America as well. So thank you so much for really participating in that. And we had more than 230 respondents in this study. So a good number for conversational research that allowed us really to get some numbers as well. So most of our respondents were from market research agencies. As you can see, 56% of people were from market research agencies. And we had also people with some managing roles, a lot of them, directors, managers, founders, owners, and obviously we had researchers, analysts, and consultants as well. And now the most interesting part, key findings. So we started asking about emotion and associations and all this, qualitative questions. My favorite, my background is qual, so I love this part about emotions. And we learned out that, yes, there is a lot of excitement. Frankly speaking, I was expecting that spontaneously, maybe there will be more concerns and some negative, reactions. But in fact, we had a lot of positive reactions and associations because I think everyone faced the truth. The truth. Yes, AI really, it's a revolution in market research. We really understand the benefits, yeah, because we can't do that efficient, right? And we understand that, okay, we're not that skeptical anymore. We understand, okay, it's your place, AI. Please stay here because you help us a lot. But we also understand that AI should be moderated and controlled by a human, right? Because we need to be ensure in data quality and we have to do accurate interpretation of the results. And but of course, there were concerns, as you can see, not with these big numbers, yeah, but still. So the concerns are about inaccuracy, yeah, in the analysis. It's also privacy and security concerns, of course. Also, that's funny that we have job displacement concerns together with human oversight. Frankly speaking, this human oversight is something that, makes me feel that I'm not sure that it's a concern, yeah, because if we think that maybe AI will take our job, maybe it's not that bad that the human oversight is needed, right? And I find it very interesting, the verbatim that we have here. The humans needed to operate the tool. Market researchers should not be devolved to juniors or those with no expertise or understanding of the industry. So when we're talking about human oversight necessity, we understand that it's not only about juniors. Yeah. So this like AI tools and the information that we get thanks to AI, we have to, really like put our expertise in this. Yeah. So it's not for juniors, it's for experts. Yeah. And maybe in this sense, it makes things not that easy. Yeah. So the concern is like, if a junior is using this AI tool, would it work that good, or we only need experts? Yeah. So this kind of concern, I think it's really interesting, something we think about. And guess what the most used market research AI tool is? Ta-da! ChatGPT. So we were really surprised that significant part of our respondents used ChatGPT for market research purposes and not the dedicated tools. Yeah. And actually, I think that the reasons, these concerns like privacy concern and concern about the not accurate data, yeah, some problems with the analysis, they are really linked to the fact that ChatGPT is used, but not the specific tools, that knows how to do the proper analysis, better analysis for market researchers. So I think that's interesting insight. And then we asked people, okay, but how easy it is for you to differentiate among different tools? And we found out that it's a great challenge. It's really, really hard for respondents, for market researchers, I have to remind you, to differentiate between all these tools and platforms like Yasna as well, and some others. We really understand this pain, and we understand how important it is. What the reality actually for you is, like, everyone is like communicating more or less similar and exaggerated claims, yeah, and these features are overlapping, and it's really hard to understand, okay, but what is the difference, yeah, what makes one platform different from another? Okay, you may do the experiment, but you don't have time, right? So time constraints is also an important barrier, really, to differentiate between different platforms. And let's go to the next slide. Yeah, I like this verbatim a lot. The lack of differentiation is overwhelming. It's hard to tell which tools have a solid scientific foundation and which ones have just put lipstick on ChatGPT. So it really demonstrates the pain that you have. Just a few words about cultural specifics, because thanks Yasna, who is analyzing also the cultural differences. And what we've got. We've got, okay, everyone is excited and quite optimistic about the usage of AI in market research. But we learned that in North America, yeah, people see that it's a real revolution. Yeah, it's really, we have to use it as soon as possible, but they also feel some pressure to adopt it. And respondents in Europe are more like, they're not in such a hurry. Yeah, they understand that it needs strict human oversight, so they do not trust it like 100%. They need to be a significant and very important part of AI. Yeah, what we found out in Asia Pacific, it was mentioned more often, but I'm pretty sure that it's important for any part of the world. Yeah, if you are doing a multi-country research, it is very, very important to keep in mind different languages, cultural contexts. So this accurate analysis of all these specifics is very, very important. So that should, we as a platform for conversational research and our competitors as well, have to keep this in mind, of course. Just a few verbatim, and then I will give a word to Ray. So, quote from North America: "There is no choice not to use AI. Customers ask if we are using AI, and they'd be upset if we weren't, given its proven capabilities." And another verbatim from Europe: "AI tools are here to stay, and the time and money savings are undeniable. A simple qual survey used to easily take a month or two," which is true, yeah. "Now it can be done in a matter of days. Efficiency is here, yeah. Clients are asking for that. So I think such platforms as ours and other platforms, similar platforms, will have a very good future." Thank you so much. Ray, I'm giving a word to you.
Thank you so much. And there's a bit of an interesting conversation going on in the chat stream, so have a look there. One thing that Tanya will be showing you later but didn't mention there is that the people in France answered in French, the people in Germany answered in German, and you're going to see how that works when we look at it later. So one of the questions when we use conversational surveys instead of regular surveys is, how do the results stack up compared with other information? So what I'm going to draw on now is some earlier research that I've done and some research that other people have done to look at this wider context. So I've run 4 waves of a study asking about optimism in the research industry: September 23, June 23, March 24, and quite recently, November 24. Very, very static numbers about levels of optimism. And I asked about what were the most positive things that were happening in the research world. Overwhelmingly, people were saying AI. Nearly 50% of it focused on AI. Even some of the other elements, and you'll see a good resonance here with what Tanya was just telling you, the context of people with AI assistants coming into play. We also asked what were the most worrying things, and the most worrying things are AI. So we see this duality that we also saw in the recent study with Yasna, in that people were excited by it, they could see the possibilities, but they also saw some of the negatives. And these are the sorts of things that people were talking about, extensive reliance on AI, AI being used by non-researchers. And you saw that quote that Tanya shared about it really does work better if you have somebody with market research experience running this. And also competitors from outside of our industry coming in with tools that perhaps aren't going to work really well for us. In those studies, we also asked people what sort of training were they looking for. Remember, this wasn't an AI study. This was a study about research in general. And over half of them said, we want AI training, please. And then lots and lots of other things, including a few people still looking for traditional qualitative training. And here's one that overlaps quite strongly. So for the people that had used some form of AI, we said, okay, in November 24, which types of AI have you used? Overwhelmingly, ChatGPT. It wasn't the conversational platforms. It wasn't the knowledge management systems. It wasn't the other bespoke AI tools. It was the LLM. And then the second one down in the list that has got a clear label against it would be Copilot, with a very similar sort of ratio that we saw in the recent study, which was conducted in February and beginning of March this year. So I looked elsewhere for some more information, and this is only the US. But when we think about 50% of market research spend happens out of the US, it's pretty relevant to us. And it's not just our industry. This is across all industries. The ratio of use of ChatGPT is about 60% to 14, 15% for Copilot, and then other things lower than that. So we're seeing this consistent pattern. Now, looking at the underlying data, ChatGPT's lead is falling. It's growing at a slower rate than the others are growing. So ChatGPT's number of users is going up, but its share of this bigger pie is falling, but it's still currently the dominant way that people are accessing the power of artificial intelligence at the moment. Looking at another source, the work I've been doing with client-side people, what we're seeing is this reference over and over again now to the 10-20-70 rule. So the first thing is clients are being absolutely swamped by people contacting them to say, we want to show you our solution. And of course, they've only got a limited amount of time. But one of the things that several of them have said pretty sarcastically about some of the people contacting them is when they're asked what their USP is, they say, we use AI. And they have to tell them, everybody uses AI. What is it that you do that's actually different and special as a result of it? There's a real issue with startups understanding the client workflows. What has to happen before the project? What has to happen after the project? How does it fit into what's going on? And that is why this 10-20-70 rule has become so popular. They're finding, the clients, that 10% of a successful idea implementation comes from how good is the AI. 20% of the data, 20% of the success comes from the quality of the data and how the data is connected. So you can have great data, but if it's not connected, it doesn't really make a difference. And then 70% of the success comes from the client side's people and the way they can leverage the tool. This is what we're talking about by workflow. That bit has to be right. And I was at the MRS conference yesterday in London, and the keynote speaker there used to be an advisor to Elon Musk. He used to be an advisor to Mark Zuckerberg, and he was making exactly the same point. The difference between two AIs is not the thing that makes a difference in how well it works for you. It's these other things, the data, the connectivity, the people, and the workflow. So I took another tool, went back to all the data that we collected with Yasna and asked a different question to it. I said, what do people who were talking to us think should happen? Not will happen or could happen, but should happen. And the first one highlighted human oversight and ethical guidelines. So across all of this data from different countries, from different roles, ethical guidelines applied effectively oversight with humans. Then we want more information on integration, best practices. People want advice, speed, data privacy, reporting functions, clearer descriptions of the capabilities are things that they need. And they stressed multilingual capabilities as part of that. Now, of course, that third one is in the context of data collected via a conversational platform. So it's not surprising it comes through quite so strongly. So what? Okay. Market research and insights are embracing AI. I have been looking at reporting in other sectors. We appear to be adopting it faster. There are always some market researchers who will walk around saying, oh, we're terrible. We're not. We're actually pretty fast moving. We've got a long way to go, but we are doing that. The key emotions we're seeing in the industry, and this was echoed at the conference in London yesterday, excitement and worries, and this call for guidance and training. Key challenges. If you use ChatGPT, if you use Copilot, if you use Gemini, they're really flexible, but you can make really bad mistakes because they don't have guardrails. They do hallucinate. They will use the wrong information. You can misinterpret them and all sorts of things. The bespoke platforms are too numerous. This is one of the things that came back from this study, and I've heard it from other things. If you go to the Insight platforms, you'll see just how many AI options there are out there. So people are concerned that there are too many in order to be able to judge properly. So the two key tests, if you're an agency thinking of starting to use an AI platform, or if you're an end client thinking about using an AI-based platform, can you fit it into your workflow to make you faster or cheaper? Because you've got to be able to fit it into the workflow. And then can you control the quality? Can you insist on more quality when you need it? Can you check for problems in moving forward?